afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Wave Network and Sports Corner with the Conn Man. I am your host, the Conn Man. And with me this afternoon, I have one of my good friends for over 50 years, folks. He goes by the name of Lee Rocha. Lee, how are you doing this evening, my friend?
I'm doing great. Can you hear me okay, Mike?
I can hear you just fine. Lee, what I like to do when I have guests come on my show is I like them to talk about their grind and their journey. I'd like if you could let the viewers know a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was kind of like the gatekeeper of Monty's Park.
I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that.
I lived right there in front, but yeah, I mean, I grew up in New Bedford, right there. I mean, might as well say I was part of the village. We all were, the wall, and every day, I don't know, man. Growing up in New Bedford was it was fun. It was nice, and I thought I'd be there forever. And here I am, 44 years later in Connecticut. Who would have? I thought I lost you there for a second, but I have you. So I don't know. My journey is, what? Can you hear me, Mike?
I can hear you.
Uh-oh.
Well, he might be going out and coming back on. Folks, Lee and I go back over 50 years. He has a distinguished family, which I'm sure we'll discuss, and so many other things. We got you back, Lee? Lee.
Should I do something on my end so it doesn't cut out?
You're good now, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I see you. Yeah, okay, you're there now. Okay, cool. So yeah, getting back to what you asked. So not sure where you want me to start. I mean, I grew up in Monty's, went to Cushing Avenue, Donaghy School. Then for a while, because I wasn't doing the right thing, I got sent over to TA Green. They didn't want me there, so I went back to Donaghy. I mean, I wasn't a bad kid in school, but I just wasn't a clown and was doing the right thing. Again, you're young, you do stuff. But then I went to Roosevelt, and from Roosevelt to New Bedford High, and right after that, I went to SMU UMass Dartmouth for about almost a year. Then I decided that wasn't for me, like my brothers and stuff doing the academic kind of thing. So I went and did the trade to a trade school in Boston. And that's when actually I was staying in the same, we were all staying in the same building. Me, David Lato and Pauline, my wife, Netto, some people know her as Netto Rocha. And yeah, that was kind of like the time of my life out there for a while, which was great. Then from there, I couldn't get a job, and I joined the Coast Guard, and here I am later, and just doing my thing.
Talk about your experiences in the Coast Guard. Let's go back there. Let's talk about your experiences in the Coast Guard.
Okay, so the Coast Guard for me, I had did well. I was in ROTC in high school too. So when I did that, I left. High school, again, school. And then when I went to the Coast Guard, I had guaranteed schooling out of boot camp. Did real well in boot camp. They made me the RC, company kind of commander assistant. And things just took off for me at that point. I decided to come to New London because I had one of the first choices, because I was supposed to have guaranteed schooling right out of the Coast Guard, but they realized it was a breach of contract on their part, that I had a color vision issue, so I couldn't go into the electrical trade, which I had already went to school for. They wouldn't let me work in that. So next thing you know, they put me in the plumbing heating shop. I didn't want to do that. But anyways, I got good at it and did what I had to do, which made me more well-rounded, because I ended up doing at least like 3-4 trades. And then I just kind of applied myself to go further. And the Coast Guard for me was 4 years and out. And then I worked for the Navy for the next 37 years.
Wow.
So I did 41 years of federal service total.
Well, thank you for your service. Wow. It's incredible.
Yeah, I was surprised. That's for me. That was a good thing because back then I was kind of mixed up with what I wanted to do, and you know, like it's funny because talking to you, you were saying, "Oh man, we were talking about playing ball." You said, "I didn't," and I remember playing when I went back because I played ball, but not that much like I should have. I mean, I was out there all night playing with my boy Troy and stuff like that, but I did a lot of that later. But the Coast Guard was a good journey for me. I had to get out because I couldn't stay in the rate that I wanted to. So I said, well, I didn't really want to be a machinery technician. That wasn't what I was going in for. So I got out and then I became an electrician, and HVAC mechanic is what I had went to school for. So I finally got to work on my trade, plumbing and heating. And then I qualified from going to multiple schools, which a lot of people don't know in New Bedford, Mass, that I did become an engineer from a lot of different schools throughout those years.
Wow.
I just didn't, on the base there was no job openings so I couldn't get the specific job that I wanted. But it worked out for me. I'm happy with the choices I made in life. So here I am today. Still doing my thing.
Doing damn well. Now I want to bring it back. I've been doing this show for about 4 or 5 years, and I always bring up Monty Park. And I know the viewers, because we're seen all over the country, they have no idea about Monty Park. And even the young folks around here don't really know Monty Park like we know. Like they got the Rocha Park in New York, they got Derby Park in Boston, and that's all great. Yeah. But ain't nothing like Monty Park back in the day. Can you let the viewers know? Because I don't think they believe me.
Man, I'll tell you. I mean, everybody came through. I remember even I was playing with Troy one time, and Kevin Stakem, who played for the Celtics, he came in once, and there's a lot of people that played at Monty's Park. Some of the Nate Archibald, Otis Gilmore came down. Just so many. Barrows came. Was it Dana Barrows? But not even JJ Walker, right? Jimmy Walker, I met.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably heard of all these people if you didn't see them all back in the day coming. I mean, for me, it was just look out the window. Sometimes my brother Buddy would bring some of these people over the house, and I didn't realize maybe how famous they were. Because everybody would stop at my house to come eat or something, And so, that was people. You're right. People don't know about that history. And what they really don't know, too, is on the pickup games, how New Bedford, a lot of these teams that came in either were bigger, stronger, or everything else, but definitely held our own. And some.
Oh, no doubt.
So,
truly is that talking about the famous wall. I talk about the wall a little bit, but I don't think they know what I'm talking about. Maybe you can probably explain it in a better way than I do.
Man, the wall. You know what? I'll tell you right now, the wall is so famous that I actually started, and I'll let you know here first. I started a Facebook page, The Wall, Monty's Park. I'm not done with it. I was going to ask some people to help me with it. Specifically, you got the Bay Village, and even the shirts that say straight out of Bay, but we don't have anything that's just straight out of Monty's.
That's true.
So that's something we have to work on.
Oh, no
so I was going to talk to you guys, Eric Brito, and anybody else who might want to help. And I just wanted to get all the pictures we can of all that, specifically of Monty's Park. And of course, I know I used to, when I was in the Coast Guard, now I was already married, but when I had all my Coast Guard friends were coming to the wedding and stuff, they used to, they had a different name for the wall. They were like, "You bringing me to New Bedford? Isn't that where all it was like Coming to America for them, like the movie Coming to America." And I was like, well, I could just look out the window and look at all the girls and the guys on the wall. And, but I said, well, there's too many to choose from. I'm going to choose the wife I chose. And I'm happy with that decision. But I says,
absolutely.
Kate Brady's the most beautiful people in the world. I mean, the girls and the guys, for that matter. So it definitely was an experience. It was a great experience. But not only Monty's Park, it was a together feeling like no other. You know what I'm saying? So like, everybody had your back. All the other families in the neighborhood had your back. It was that kind of what I experienced when I went to Cape Verde Islands this winter. I mean, there was more Beza right at the park wall, man. It was that simple. We had our rivalries, South End, West End, and all that foolish stuff. But at the end of the day, we were all together.
And so truly, like you said, yeah, we did have them rivalries, West End and South End. I personally never experienced it, but nowadays out here, you got they're taking a step further, and they're going against maybe their own family that they don't even know. They might be their cousins, and we have so much violence going on, which is kind of a very sad thing because, I mean, we all in this together, you know what I mean? But I want to bring about the Monty Pot. Folks, Monty Pot,
I see the issue, Mike. Hold on.
Wall would be filled inside and outside. And it was such a great experience, great ball players, great fun. And like you said, we all got along. We had people watching our backs. We didn't have to worry about all the stuff we got to worry about nowadays and all that. So, I wanted to go over a little bit about the Monty Pot history and all that. But that's not the reason why I wanted you on the show. The reason why I wanted you on the show is just because you're one of my best friends and all that. But another reason is, I talk about sometimes Cape Verdeans. And again, this show was seen all over the country. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they'll be like, who, what? Yeah, what? Yeah, Cape, what is that? What's going on with that? So I kind of wanted you on, Lee, to kind of give the viewers who may not have any inkling as to what Cape Verdeans are and the Cape Verde Islands. And can you give, you ain't got to go into detail, but just a little brief. And then we're going to talk about your trip going to the Cape Verde Islands. And then we're going to talk about, of course, your cooking expertise as well.
Well, geez. As far as Cape Verdeans, I think, there are a lot of Cape Verdeans. There's actually more Cape Verdeans here in this country now than there are in the Cape Verde Islands. There's about approximately 500,000, and they said there's more abroad here, all over the place, mm-hmm. and in Europe too. But a lot of people didn't realize because, back in the day, unfortunately, I'm talking about like when you came, when our families came, well, to get into that first, it's an African, Portuguese used to own, obviously, a lot of people know that part, that the Portuguese did own the Cape Verde Islands. So, mm-hmm. You had that mix, and then the African, so basically, with the African culture, us being Africans, when you came over here, though, it was tough back in the day because it was so important to just be like Americanized and try to, even when you went to school, like I know when a lot of people say, oh, you don't speak the language. And I'm like, well, I don't, because back in school, when I was in, like, say, Cushing Avenue, those schools, they didn't want you speaking it in the schoolyard or everything else. Not like today. They encourage you to speak language, and that's different. Right. So in some of the families at home, if they spoke good, I don't know about you, but, and I'm not using this as a cop-out. I should have learned it anyways. But the bottom line is a lot of the families would speak Creole to you when they didn't want you to understand what the adults were talking about.
Exactly. That is a fact. Fact.
Now, that being said, I didn't, my mother did, try to teach me later on in life as my grandparents passed away and stuff, the language, which is, it's Portuguese with an African dialect. And, I think at that point, I just wasn't really interested in, like I should have been. And I just thought, oh, it's too much of a challenge, because I really wasn't really believing in myself at that point. Now I was kind of a late bloomer in some of those things, until I got older. And then I realized, well, I can't speak the language. So I said, I'm surely not going to lose this identity, especially out here when I'm in Connecticut and I'm not in Norwich. There's a Cape Verdean community there. And I thought it was very important for my children to understand at least what I could show them. My wife speaks the language, and I wanted them to understand all the cooking. So that's when I really started challenging myself, especially being out here. I have a whole ton of friends out here. And so I had plenty of time, especially with my wife's schedule, to really try to get into my cooking and study more. So that's what a lot of people say, "Well, where did you learn this or there or all that?" A lot of it, my parents, both my father and my mother, were good cooks. But I left at age 22, so they gave me the basics. I did some cooking, hanging out with Donnie and Michael at Pee Wee's restaurant. I used to go in there and help out with the manchoop because my father sometimes would make it for Pee Wee, but he was shipping out. And I just, I didn't see my father that much, so I'd go down there with him. And basically, he showed me how to do it. And then, a couple of times, Donnie had me come in there. Hey, come on in here and help me make this cachupa and stuff in what we call the manchoop, But, it is really cachupa, but I don't always admit it. I always tell people I'm calling it manchupa until you make it better than I can. And then I'm calling it manchupa. In my house, it's manchupa. Or else they don't get to eat, Mike. Nah, just kidding.
Now, Lee, hold up. I got to interrupt you. You just said manchoop cachupa. People who are viewing this from around the country, what the hell is that? What is manchupa? What is it?
It is a stew. Okay, I guess the best way that I would think is described is you might have seen, especially in the 70s, 80s, when they're showing these poverty in Africa and some of the grains that they eat. And a lot of it is just the corn. They might take a meat and put it in it. So I'm going to say that corn was something that kind of started there, but then we took that to a different level with the influence of some Portuguese and stuff like that. And they're very resourceful of using what they have there in the Cape Verde Islands, which isn't much. So that's their national dish, which I guess if you want to say it's kind of like the consistency of a kind of like a pea soup, but it's just corn, the same as grits. I always tell people if you eat grits, the people that haven't had it, then it's just grits is ground white corn, hominy, and cachupa or manchupa is yellow corn, not ground up. And you just make a stew out of it. It used to be a poor man's stew, but not anymore, man. You're probably going to spend $60, $70, $80 to make it.
At least.
Right, yeah. So,
now, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you, you said it's like a kind of like a pea soup. It's a little bit more than that.
Yeah, I meant like the consistency is thick like that, but it's a heck of a lot more than that. I mean, because there's all kinds of stuff in it. I mean, when I went out, I've had it with the people who it's not my thing, but I don't, I've had it with people like even put chicken or, they put tuna in it in the Cape Verde Islands too, but I didn't have it that way. And I'm not sure that I would like it that way, but, I guess I'm going to have to try all those different ways. In fact, I was supposed to cook live on the Charlie Perry show out there, and they were giving me a hotel to do it in, but they were really wanting me to do this out there in the Cape Verde Islands, and I didn't get to do it because I got sick out there the day that we had kind of it planned, and so it didn't work out, and then my time had run out. But I'm going back. I don't know when. And the experience was absolutely incredible. I'm gonna be honest with you, Mike. I really wasn't sure I wanted to go. I had always heard these stories from the old timers. They go out there and people get sick, and I just thought it was some, And I said, well, I don't know. Do I want? What's there for me? But when I was there, I can almost tell you, if I didn't have family there, I didn't want to leave. In fact, a couple of people tell me, oh man, where you going? I mean, because Pauline was doing her thing with her job, because she's on a mission out there for a whole medical mission, teaching them, because, she's a professor at Quinnipiac and she's director of radiology. And so she developed a school with some doctors out there. And that's why we were there. So I didn't get to spend a lot of time with her because she was busy every day, but people were saying, oh, be careful where you go, this and that. And I was running the streets like crazy because, that's the way we grew up. And people like, you got to be careful. but it's different. They're real poor. They're not asking for tips. They don't even ask for tips. Tip is not like a big thing. I mean, they'll ask you for money on the street, that kind of thing, if you can help them out. But the whole experience of, I never seen a situation where so many people were, especially in San Antonio, where and that's like the island with the mountains and everything, and it was like hillside. These people were in shacks and stuff. When we were driving through the side of the mountain and everything, it reminded me of growing up in the 60s and how together people were. All they did was smile and welcome you and want to show you everything. It was an incredible experience. So
now what about the language barrier?
For me, it was tough. But I got something for them when I go back next time. Because there's apps now that you can help it. If they can speak to me in Portuguese now, like I got devices now and things that are like, like smart classes. Like that's the latest thing. You can put them on, and if they speak Portuguese, it'll tell me in my ear, and I can translate back with them. But the language was tough, but I was learning it because pretty much I had no choice. When everyone's speaking like that, you're gonna start to get it, and I kind of need to get back to that. I mean, so yeah, the language barrier, but a lot of them spoke English still, So I don't know. I mean, the language, it wasn't a big deal when I went to any place, and they didn't look down on you because you didn't speak the language or anything like that. Where it's kind of funny, the Creole people out here, when you don't speak the language, will crack on me, but not out there. I was worried about that. I was like, man, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna be embarrassed. You're gonna, oh man, you don't know your language and this and this and that. I'm like, I didn't get any of that there. All I got was big hugs and welcoming. And when I first got there, Mike, the travel, my plane, which is crazy, was on the news. I'm coming from Portugal to get, this is about 11 hours. So I had to fly to Portugal, then fly down another 4 hours after flying 7 to 8 hours to Portugal. I was on a brand new plane. Of course, the plane, they didn't tell us at first, developed an engine problem. One of the engine's computers went out. And so we had to make an emergency landing. It was on the news out there. And so it had started. So my whole day, the day before that, it was like, took almost 2 days to get there. So when I got there, I was tired, started not feeling good. I was a little bit kind of ornery, Pauline said. And I said, oh man, what did I get myself into? It was one of those deals. But then when you got invited to someone's house, I got invited over someone's house, and my son Lee's girlfriend's family lives out there. And that's how he met her. He went out there on his own, couldn't even speak the language. He learned it going there. And I got there and I'm like, all of a sudden these different people coming in. They don't have a lot of money. But all these people coming from one island to the next. Why? Because they knew we were there. And I was like, these people are coming here as a family meal because we're their guests. And I was like, man, you need to straighten your attitude out. That's what I was telling myself. And I said, I got it. And then from there on, it just was great. I didn't want to come back, to be honest with you. I wanted it to last longer than the 2 weeks. 2 weeks is good, but I think 3 weeks to a month would have been better, Costs a lot to get there, Mike, but you don't need hardly any money when you get there. I mean, literally next to nothing. I mean, $5 could get me a beer, a tuna grinder maybe, and French fries or something like that for lunch, or even a salad. $5, $6, $7. It's ridiculously cheap. So
something too, Lee, that I come across so many people that they keep going back. They keep going back. Mm-hmm. So something must be going on. You know what I mean? I've never had the pleasure of going there, but I know people always want to go back. You know what I mean?
I know.
So what you're saying is not. I mean, it's the truth, man. It's incredible. I mean, these people go and maybe once a year.
Well, a lot has changed from the way things were like for instance, the Europeans really started flooding that place. I'm not sure about when it started, especially the island of Sal. And I think like that's where Nuno Barros, his wife is from there, but he's from Sal Vicente. Last time I talked to him, and I know he just built a house over there, along with
Yes, yes.
and Curtis. It's Curtis' last name. You know what I'm talking about, Curtis. And Johnny's brother, Troy's cousin.
Just Rose.
Thank you, Rose.
Rose.
He when I was out there, he built a house in San Vicente Salamanca, and I got to go check out that beach area there. So he just put up a house over there. And so a lot of people are going out there to build houses out there for dirt cheap. I'm talking about some beautiful houses, cement with, I mean, some of these houses are pretty magnificent, and I'm hearing they're only like, I don't know, 150 grand. My son Lee said, Dad, we got to go out there and let's get something together. And I'm like, well, you know, I'm going on 70. I'm not sure. I'm 68, but to me, I'm going on 70. And I was like, I don't know that I want to do this now, but maybe it was 10. He goes, yeah, he goes, we'll go out there. He goes, you can spend 2-3 months out there and just rent it out because all the Europeans are flooding Saul and everything else. Because the reason they're doing that instead of going to the Caribbean is because that is the Caribbean play out. It's so close. And Cape Verde Islands has learned so much about about irrigation and stuff, and where they've come a long way with understanding that. And I noticed that the Chinese influence was big out there too. So they're teaching them how to do a lot of stuff, helping them build buildings and stuff like that. So yeah, they're coming a long way, and people want to go there now. And like even though they just had this bad weather out there, I think you remember that. You might have heard it on the news. They've already rebuilt some of those beaches in. So yeah, it's just got this old-fashioned charm to it, and everybody you meet, it seems pretty incredible. I didn't meet anybody who was not nice to me at all. I mean,
how was the weather when you went?
Man, that's what. Another reason I didn't really want to go up for. I don't know if my camera's shaking. I bought this new thing and I don't know if you got one. It follows me wherever you go.
No,
These used to be expensive. You could pick them up for about $40, $50, and it's got lights on them. I could change the light. Oh yeah, I'll give you all the information. I got 2 of them. But like if I come over here, it's supposed to follow me. It was just doing that. It's calling me a liar now. But yeah, so but I'll tell you this. I like Almond Troop a little bit better, but that's only because they do it a little bit different than what we do. And I think it's not because they don't know how to cook, because obviously they do. That's where we learn. But they don't have all kind of different seasons or ways, and things of that. And they do to a certain extent. But I noticed the big thing for them is they'll make the samp. Maybe put in the beans and stuff. All the meats they cook separate, and I'm not used to that. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't know that. Now,
yeah, I mean, you put it all in the bowl separate, and then you grab the meats.
Right now, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, Lee, but it was told to me that the main difference between Manchupa and Cachupa was really originated in the islands, and Manchupa, once it came here, it got Americanized. And that's why, because when it came to America, most people have more money to purchase the different types of meats. And I don't know. That's what I was understood. I don't know.
From what I understand out there is, I think, I want to say it's Brava, the people, it's just the way what they called it there in Brava. I think that I could be wrong on that too. One Islands, but they say, oh, that's just the way they said it. But the real way is the name is Cachupa for all of it, no matter how you do it. Now, again, that's one of those areas that I want to learn more about, especially when I go back. And if I do a show out there, and I'll learn more about that too, because I have some ideas for the Cape Verde recipes page that I want to go ahead and do out here. as well, and maybe hopefully I'll find out more.
Now, Lee, that's what I wanted to go into. Let's talk about your cooking history and about the recipes and what you got in store. What's your future? What does it look like as far as your Cape Verdean cuisine, and what is it that you want to do?
Well, the first thing I did, and I never got a chance to do the show with Wayne Reese, God bless his soul, but he had contacted me because he saw that I was posted some stuff, probably from Duca, because Pauline and her are good friends, and then I didn't really know him that well growing up, but he was shipping out too, and then he was Emeril Lagasse's executive chef in New York. If some people don't know that, that's what he used to do.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And yeah, he was the big chef. He was the executive chef in New York City for that restaurant, Emeril Lagasse.
Wow.
And well, anyways, I was kind of honored that he did ask me. He wanted to do something with me because he saw that I was going online, and I made a couple of videos. Nothing crazy, but I wanted to make that. It just started one of those things. It's funny because I was home. I was doing these videos. I did a lot more about 5 years ago, and then I kind of slowed down because I said, well, I don't want to do too much. And I said, I don't want to be like annoying and over the top. But you know what's funny? I went home for the Cape Verdean Independence Day, and I saw some Portuguese people. I didn't know them. I was in front of Ella Montero's mother's, Evelyn's house on Purchase in Russell. And I'm talking to Evelyn and maybe Ella Montero, and someone points across the street and they say, hey, there's that TV chef. And I'm like, TV chef? And I'm like, I had to stop him. I'm like, wait, excuse me. So I had to stop. And I said, are you talking about me? And they said, well, yeah, we watch your stuff. I'm like, how do you watch my stuff? But I found out, even when I was walking around that day, a lot of people said, hey, man, I watch everything you do. We love what you're doing. And I'm like, well, I never heard you make a comment or nothing. They said, oh, I was watching it at someone's house, or I stay in the background. I'm not commenting. I'm not blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, okay. So, I know. So, my wife said, oh, no, man. She goes, that's what you do. Because I've always been MC, DJ. She goes, and a lot of people don't know that I did some stand-up comedy out here and all that. Once I got out here, and also became Southeastern Connecticut Vocalist of the Year. Troy and Gomes came out here when I won that in '93, singing out here, and so did Michael Gonsalves. They were out here for that. But yeah, I mean, the cooking thing is where I'm trying to bring it now, Mike, is when well, I'm gonna tell you something. Right now, I could Paulo Paris, when I was on the Charlie Perry show. I don't know if you had saw that. He goes, oh, we want Lee to do the Cape Verdean page. I'm like, what? And that was in February.
I did, yes.
But I was kind of a little bit intimidated. I'm like, I'm not, I'm not didn't go to school. A lot of people say, oh, you must have went to school to be a chef. I'm like, no, not really. I just study hard. And I think I have a knack for tasting stuff a certain way at a restaurant and saying, I'm going to make that just as good, if not better. That's always my mission now. And I think a lot of that comes because I didn't apply myself like I should have when I was younger in a lot of areas. So for me, I'm like, this is what I got to do. And I want to do it not for myself to say for accolades or anything like that. In fact, I had decided with the Cape Verdean thing, and even moving forward with my own, that my idea was to get other people and other young adults, because no matter where you see a lot of Cape Verdeans that don't speak the language, probably a lot of them don't, but they don't cook either, Mike.
I was just going to go there.
So I kind of feel like a lot of these old people aren't going to be here. And some of them did. Well, one of them that taught me how to do couscous died, just recently had died, Pauline's family last year. But so I specifically wanted to make it into clay pot. So I do know how to do it that way. And then I'm always trying to advance things, and she taught me that. So that's just one thing. But I mean, I make a lot of other dishes from Brignala and everything else. And I just want to make sure that you know, it's one thing you see people make these Cape Verdean cookbooks, and I've seen them. That's a great idea. But to me, a lot of it, we need to do more video work on this because a lot of people want to see it or hands on. Like couscous is tough because you gotta kind of, it's a touchy feely thing. The best way to describe, I mean, people are like, hey, could you tell me how to make it? I'm like, well, I'm gonna try, but depending on the weather and everything else, like it's, you remember that sand that they had like at Brookstone and stuff that you could grab, you squeeze it, but it'll mold, but then it just breaks apart into sand.
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of the consistency you want when you're doing your couscous. When you get it like that, then the steam can pass through it and stuff. So, but I'm gonna go there. I had some videos that I lost because a couple of years ago I had it on Facebook, but then I lost my Facebook account. I got banned because I got hacked. Yeah, and then I kind of said, hey, how does this happen like twice? And I kind of blasted Facebook, not in any bad language. They actually banned me. I couldn't believe it. Someone said, oh, you can still get all your content, but I'm like, well, it is what it is now. So I had to make a new Facebook. I guess I was a bad boy for cussing them out.
Now, one thing you skipped by, I saw a video that you did, and you sung one of the Tavares songs, and I've known you for 1,000 years. I didn't know you can sing. And also, by the way, you know, when I promoted that you were coming on the show, one of your, I guess, your
Bobby Cruz, my drummer.
Mr. Bobby Cruz, Dr. Cruz, I should say.
Dr. Cruz, yes.
He is he's a fan of my show, and he's always, applauding me. Then when he found out you were coming on, I'm sure he's watching this as we speak. So, he wanted to talk about the band you guys had. Can you talk about that? Because he's going to be paying attention, and I don't want him getting mad at me.
Well, that's funny that you said that. So, I mean, but I've lost it. Michael, I sang a lot of people, if you ask around town. I mean, like Larry Rhodes once told me not too long ago, he said, you are Michael Jackson. That's what a lot of people don't know. Okay. I didn't know. Victor Tavares was dating my sister Linda. So I was 7, 8 years old. And they used to call me outside and I would sing. In fact, if you talk to Victor, he said I was his first student or second. It was me, him, and John Paris, who ended up singing with that's Paulo's brother. Right? I think, yeah. So I would sing with him, and there was also a band called the Young Professionals. I didn't sing with them, but I did sing in New Bedford High School. Beverly Bizarro had me singing a show called It's Your Thing. JoJo Forts knows, they all know. But I mean, I sang Ben, the Michael Jackson song in Roosevelt when I was real young. And but getting back to the band, that's a whole nother thing. That was after the band. So they would call me out to the park wall and I would harmonize and sing, just kind of like Boys to Men. And they would always tell me, hey, lead, take the lead, blah, blah, blah. They used to call me cha-cha because I used to know how to do the cha-cha. They used to make me do all that kind of foolish stuff. And so I would sing with, sometimes Kippy Barrett would be out there and sometimes my brother Tommy. But they always would tell Tommy, go get your brother Lee. And, well, that's what, I would sing with Victor. And Victor used to be my teacher along with Dan Alves. You knew Dan Alves.
Ooh, of course.
Let me tell you, he had kind of a baritone, but he wasn't necessarily the biggest singer. But I'm going to tell you something about Dan Alves. He is a good choreographer, and he used to know what key you should be on and how to create harmony and all those things. So yeah, I did quite a lot of singing. And I remember when we formed our group, it was, the name of the band was Little Lee and the Nightlighters. And so it was me, Alan Montero, with the singing. Okay. And then we had Donald Tavares' brother, Boo Boo, rest his soul, my good friend Boo Boo back in the day.
Yes.
And he played guitar. Benny Miranda. Did you know Benny Miranda? Wallace Miranda's brother.
Yes, of course.
He played guitar, but then he ended up moving to key organ later on. Once I got to high school, I remember him being in the show up there once. And then Dr. Cruz on drums. And, he said something the other day. I got to ask him if he's watching the show. I told Pauline, I said, I know I'm getting old, but I said, who in the band is named Jamie? I'm trying to think if we had someone in the band. But, we played in the teak room. There was a place called Onboard where we used to play basketball up there too, right up there on County Street. And
yes.
So yeah, I mean, I had no problem. I can't even believe the stuff I was tap dancing back then, Mike. They just gave me the mic. I was splitting all over the stage at a very young age. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. And then Danelles went and asked my mother. I'm not sure what the name of the band would have been. They went to my house. Victor knew about it because he was kind of managing my group too with Danelles. And they said, once we broke up. And I remember, I think Lorraine Cruz, and not just her, but the parents back then, I wasn't doing good in school. I was actually flunked, not proud of it. You couldn't have told me at that point. I started singing Donny Osmond songs and Michael Jackson songs later on. But when they asked me later to be in this band, in a group and sing around in the clubs and with the older guys, right, whether it been Victor, whoever, and my mother said no. They came to the house and I just got my report card. She goes, he's out. And that was the end of it for me. So, yeah, it was a great time. But I mean, even when the Tavares came back, sometimes they would go practice in the teak room. And I usually went over there with Troy or even when they did Check It Out. You remember that song that Victor sang that? Before it was even released. Before it was released, Victor Tavares drove by my house and picked me up and said, get in the car. I want you to hear something. And he took me and Troy for a ride. And then, that was crazy. And I'm surprised you didn't know that, because it seems like everybody always tells me when I go to New Bedford about my singing. But I've lost an octave or two because of allergies or whatever else. And I had burned my vocal cords. So yeah. So you heard me sing a little bit, but I sing a lot more out here. I'm saying even recently out here, for years, I had this big show, which ended in 2005. And we usually had about 100 or so people on the weekends. And then we get busloads from Foxwoods. We had the comedy club there called G. Willikers in Groton, Connecticut. And I was doing that show for years. And a lot of people in New Bedford didn't know that. And so I would MC that. Right. And then I got offered to go to be the MC out at Mohegan Sun for the concerts and the Wolf's Den kind of thing. I had met a chief. They loved the show that I did. He got so drunk though, and I'm doing my show that next thing you know, they were gone, and I never seen him again because he had like some people with him, and I was kind of interested. I said maybe, but at any rate, that club closed down. I have my DJ business, did the karaoke thing, and I'm still doing weddings and shows and all that kind of stuff. But now I'm doing a lot of big screen entertainment, Mike. That's something that you want to bring to New Bedford. Whether we do something.
Here's your opportunity. Let the viewers know. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I will. I've invested pretty heavily. Like right now, I'm in my RV. I don't know if you probably can't tell that, but I'm just going to turn the camera real quick here so you can see.
Wow.
I'm in my RV. I'm turning this thing into a block party DJ kind of thing. But I have screens. I have giant screens that go on the side. I also invested when I retired in probably some of the best Bose speakers that you can buy. The concert kind of level equipment. And they were pretty costly. And then I went out and I bought 4K projectors. I did something I do out here. I bought I got a couple of projectors, and I already had a 10-foot screen. a 24, and I got a 35-foot screen mic, bigger than like the side of my whole house. So like if you hired me, for instance, if someone wanted to hire me to come in or do a show, I could come in with this big equipment and put the speakers behind the stuff. So I could come in and if you said, hey, you know what? Hey, can you come in and do, I don't know, a Funkadelic concert, specifically all that, or you are Elton John all one night. That's what I advertise here to do for people. And I could show a movie with it, blah, blah, blah. And the sound sounds like when you go into a theater, say like any real good theater inside, that's how powerful it is. So that's what I'm doing.
Lee, you know what? Now that I got you on, how can people, if they're interested, because you kept ready, I ain't got the money for that, but those that are interested in and looking at it, and they might be interested in having you come and do something for one of them, how would they get in touch with you?
I'm not charging a heck of a lot of money to do that in the first place, so people know. I'm still doing pretty much my regular prices with that right now, just to kind of get that service out there. But one of the things that I want to do anyways is I want to do something. Basically, I'm just going to come out there and do something for the people where I'm not charging any money. That's what I want to do. I want to just give that back to the community is what I want to do. You know, and if I could go back a minute on the cooking thing on that page. I didn't finish answering it. I kind of jumped away from that a little bit. What I want to do there, Mike, is did you remember obviously you're a lot younger, but you probably at least know of the cunt it is, right?
Of course.
Okay. How everybody, they all get drunk after they go out partying. They go in the morning, I'd be like getting up at 7 o'clock, and these cats are out all night. Yeah. And my father and all the rest of them, and all these old timers go singing with the guitars. And I'm like, do they really need another shot? And they come in and sing for a shot, then they go to the next house. That's fine. We don't have, some people kind of still do that. No. But I thought with the cook show in the Cape Verdean page, I thought I'd kind of, and I think I mentioned a little bit about this to Wayne Weiss, but we didn't expand it. I wasn't sure where I wanted to go, but he wanted to do some video work with me. And then I thought, why not myself? And I asked Charlie Perry this, and I think if I didn't ask you, I wanted you to come too, since you kind of do this show. But I wanted to go to like kind of like a Contreras thing where people see me cook, but what about your next door neighbor, Mike? You might have this person who has their family. So I kind of want to bring the show out, and where I say, hey, today, give you an example. Today we're at Alicia Sudo's house, and we're going to talk about. No, I'm just going to say, we're going to talk about, I'm just giving an example. She might say, Lee, don't say that. But I'm just giving an example. Or someone else we know, Yeah. And I just thought that it's important to see what these people are doing in their culture and why. And we could talk about some of their history. Yet at the same time, we're cooking, we're having a glass of wine, little fireside kind of chat kind of thing. And then that's what I want to do. And I'll still be cooking. In fact, I haven't really done anything on the Cape Verde page live yet, but I plan on going live. And that's why I just bought this new equipment, these cameras, because one of the problems I was having is trying to video it, And in fact, I didn't even know about this format that you're using here, the StreamYards, but I'm like, ooh, I could use this too.
Absolutely. So this Cape Verdean page, I know you haven't really started it yet. What is that going to involve? What do you want to come out of this Cape Verdean page? Do you want people from here who have their own recipes, bring them to you, or how do you want to?
No. The way Wayne set it up, I'm still trying to figure it out. He's gone and passed away, and then Paul says, "Oh man, here you go." And he told me, he goes, "You got the reins back in February, right?" But I'm like, every time he goes, "It's your page now." And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm not an admin. And I see all these people admin, and I'm like, well, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. But he goes, and I talked to him recently not that long ago, and I'm like, I don't even have access as an admin. You keep telling me that. And then he went in, he goes, oh yeah. So there was a little mistake there. He fixed it. And now I am, but I want to learn more about all the controls first off. And but what I want out of the I don't really want anything special out of the people except for the invitation to come to their house and maybe do some cooking or even do some interview, whether we cook or not, kind of thing. And then I plan on even having, say, some people here. I just thought it would be real interesting if, say, we go to your house, or you know what I told you, and I still have plans for this. Like say this RV, I'm going to travel down to New Bedford, cook something simple, whether it be in front of Hazelwood. You could do a show out of there. We could do a show out of there together.
Absolutely.
I just think this is what these young youths today, they need to see more of that culture, that more Bedford feeling. I just think that's just going to help the whole community, in my opinion.
You know something too? Right. And Lee, you know what? It's a shame because these young people don't really know the feeling that we felt growing up. You know what I mean? And it's good that you're doing, or you're going to be doing things that keeps the memories alive and keeps the culture alive, because otherwise, like you said, a lot of them people, they're gone, or they're passing away, or they just may be too tired to do all that stuff. So we gotta step up to the plate. You know what I mean? We gotta step.
They can't just read about it. They can't just read about it in the history books. They gotta, you know, you gotta. Yeah, I mean, and then once we start doing that, maybe we'll have more interest. I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, they are doing some good things. I heard at the vets, they have certain things that they have, these cook-offs or whatever they do.
Right,
that's all well and fun and good too. But I thought, why not just bring it to different people? And you know, I mentioned that to them in the Cape Verde, and they love it. In fact, someone who's kind of upset, Pauline just told me, you know, I have a cousin that really wanted you to come by her house to do cooking because you said you would and you didn't end up there. And I was like, my schedule just ran out of time. And I did say I would. So, but I said, you know what? I said, I guess I got to go back and do that then, because I guess, you know, I'm honored just to be able to have that opportunity and to feel that way from them taking me in like that. So, and I see, I do know that I didn't know when Eddie Estes went last with Vinnie Richards and a bunch of other, they all went out there. Forgot what month that was, a while back though. And I was like, shoot, next time they go, I want to go out there. You know, but I mean, I know that the next year I want to make it back there. So that's where we're at with it.
I see Eddie Rogers in the gym every morning, every other morning, and he went out there. I mean,
my cousin Eddie's always out there. He's out there. Well, you know, definitely. It was about 22. It cost me about $2,100 to $2,200 for the flight, but you probably could have lived off. $1,000 for 2 weeks is probably too much money. I would say you could get by with $500 for 2 weeks. Don't really know how much, because first off, nobody wants you to go eat in the restaurants. They all want you to go to their house, just the way we grew up.
Right. Yeah.
And that's so you get that too. So, and it's just you got to go.
I do. You know, I like to do my show from there. You know what I mean? So that would be great.
Maybe we should get on. Maybe we should tell Gary Correa he needs to charter a plane and get us all out there.
Know something? That's a good damn idea. Wait till I see him. I'm gonna see what he can do. You know what I mean?
I know. I thought about it before. Like, if I'm going to fly with anybody, I want to fly with the best pilot in the entire world, in my eyes.
Absolutely. Oh man, great. You know what's funny is I got Paulo coming on my show of all days, Halloween night. So you know that's probably going to be off the hook. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he's a funny dude, man. Yeah. That ought to be a good show. So yeah, and I saw, you know, going back a show there, you had Eddie Rogers on. Coach in New Bedford High. Yeah. And I was listening to part of it. I couldn't listen to the whole thing. I had stuff going on. But, you know, I used to go to those games when he was there. Him and Brian Baptiste playing in the backcourt. because they came in and succeeded my brother Buddy, who was playing with Vinny Mello and a bunch of other guys. And I scored all those games with Beverly Bizarro. So I think I was at the game in Boston at the Garden when maybe he fouled out. I can't remember because Beverly Bizarro used to throw me in the car. I used to go all the games. So, but that's funny because when you talk about basketball, you're like, I didn't really see you on the court and play it. But
I don't remember that much.
You guys, I played with Eric Brittle out here somewhat. He came out here. We had to teach some kids a lesson. But I mean, back then, I think like Jeffrey Martin used to try to toughen me up. I mean, I was light, man. I was only like 160 pounds, and you were already a big boy. And so I didn't play. I'll tell you what, when I went join the Coast Guard and came out and I really worked out hard after, and I was one of the top 500 physically fit people supposedly in the country at that time. Won a road race. Things just took off to me after being in boot camp. And I came back and I went to go play ball. And me and Danny Concesio were in the backcourt up at Volk. We used to play up at Volk up there. But I was already the Coast Guard out here. I'm talking about, I'm going to say this was late 80s. Maybe late 80s, yeah. Or no, I was in the Coast Guard. So it had been about 80, 84, 85. And I had been playing a lot out here. A lot. But I wasn't in New Bedford. And I never go into the court there with Tommy Gomes. We were still playing. My brother Buddy, David Grace, and what did it say? What's his name? Tommy Ferreira? Something like that? Was that his name?
Tom Farrier.
That guy. Shoot. Bunch of guys, some of them that played ball. And I remember when we were done playing, because guys were telling me back then, they probably thought that, I was the same league that, maybe that you remember playing, but I did play a lot of 2-on-2, 3-on-3, not a lot of running with you guys. When I came there, I was on a mission too. And I was like, I remember one time David was like, give it up. And I was like, screw giving it up. I'm going right to the well. and me and Danny was just in the backcourt, just taking the ball off people, hounding people. Because I started playing defense. And I want to attribute that to Jeffrey Martin. God rest his soul. Because me and Jeffrey would play a lot.
I don't know about Jeffrey Martin. Jeffrey Martin was a bad boy. No doubt.
No, let me tell you something. He was tough as nails too. And he used to come and he would beat on me, right? And he's like, but we were real close. He elbowed me. He goes, give it back, man. He goes, you got to give it back. And it's like, Jesus Christ. And so I was like, between him, my brother Buddy, and Gary Pope. But I remember playing against Gary Pope one time. And he might, I don't know which one of them did it. That was crazy times. Yeah, I remember like driving on him. And he said, don't do that again. And I did it again. And literally threw me into the pole.
Oh, absolutely.
But
no doubt. No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I got stories. It'll take too long, but I got stories about Gary.
Oh, I know. Yeah. But I mean, as far as scoring, Mike, even back then, I felt I had the speed and could score in. I just didn't want to play any defense. And, I was kind of a lightweight. So, but then later on, I got much stronger. And I said, well, now I'm going to bully people. And that's the way it went. Well, not bully people, but use my physical strength and attributes and the skill that I had. But I was already married and I wasn't going to no NBA. So I said, time to focus on my career, family, and everything else. And that's where I'm at today.
Before I let you go, Lee, is there anything you want to talk about? I know you're a Patriots fan, right? And the Celtics. I mean, do we have to talk about that? I mean,
you know what? We do.
Oh man. All right, go ahead.
Okay. So I've been saying all along, but okay, you can say that. Okay, I knew last year when Drake May was playing, I said, I know it don't look right. I said, this kid's going to be special. I already knew that. And I said, the Patriots aren't all that far off. Yes, they need still some pieces. And, but yeah, you want to talk about that or you want to talk about, you knew I was coaching out here too, right?
No, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? when I came out here, since I was playing a lot of ball and everything, first off, I coached St. Joseph's School. And then I coached with my son out here 2 years ago. We took a team that went last place year after year. They asked me to come out of retirement because I was the Waterford Town of Basketball commissioner, which Eric Brito knew because he wanted me to get his backwoods out here. So that's something that I ended up giving it up, but I had become the town's commissioner. I coached the AAU team. So yeah, I was heavily involved in basketball for quite a while out here.
Wow. I had no
And
idea.
but we took the kids from last place to first, and we won the Southeastern Connecticut Junior High Championship from last to first. And we beat the tough New London. They're also the Whalers too. But I was going to do it this year, and I said, you know what? It takes a lot of time, and to be honest with you, the pay wasn't that good. But I didn't necessarily, my son asked me to. Actually, the kids used to call me OG. And I was like, "What's OG?" They said, "The original." But I liked it. We had some good success, and it was fun. I don't know that I'll do it again unless I get paid well.
Right, and it takes a lot of commitment and dedication when you're doing something like that.
You're not doing it for the money. You got to go to practice with them every day, all season, and it was great. I love doing it, and but it was fun. But as far as the Patriots, I think. What do you want to know? I mean, they still need a couple of pieces. Everyone's talking about them winning the division. I'm not so sure that Buffalo's necessarily not going to win a division.
Well, this is the time because teams are hurt. I mean, some of the teams that were favored at the beginning of the year are not doing so well right now, like the Ravens, and you know what I mean. Kansas City wasn't doing good, but now they're getting better.
They're going to do good.
Cincinnati was doing terrible, but now they're getting better. I mean, so it depends how teams are at the end. But I tell you what, even though I'm not a Patriots fan, you have to be very, very happy about the progress that's been made since the last year. And the progress they're talking about, Drake may he might be, I don't know. They even said the MVP conversation. I don't know. It's too early. I don't know.
Right now, I say Baker Mayfield's kind of leading.
I agree with you on that. Now, let's talk about something I know before we go because we got to go. But anyway, the Celtics. What is your preseason take on your Boston Celtics?
Well, I get it in today's NBA, what they had to do on that second level tax. And that's just not going to affect them. That's going to be the future of the way the NBA is right now. So anybody who's going to be at the top they're going to have to go through the same thing. But I do think Brad Stevens is a mastermind for what he's doing. Mm-hmm. I will say, I didn't know a lot about this, Josh Minot, whatever, but I'm going to say that cat has an all-around game, and he has a chance to be something really special that they picked up for literally nothing. But
yeah, that's true.
They're deep. They need some. They're gonna have to do something with their front court because that's just not going to cut it, in my opinion.
Right.
I don't like a lot of the basketball that's being played today. It is what it is. I don't know. I mean, we grew out inside out basketball. Now it's outside in basketball.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you think about that, but I get it. I mean, you have to be adaptable. And even when I was coaching with my son, I had told him, I says, we got to run. And I says, we're going to press the teams that the inner city kids that we're playing would scare the crap out of these teams. And I said, well, I'm going to tell you something from what I learned in experience. I said, what I learned from coaching the wrong way out here too is teams that press don't want to be pressed back. I said, so we're going to press it. I said, we can shoot. And I said, we're going to get right in their grill. And I said, and that's what we're going to do. And I says, and you get tired, you're coming out. Next man up. I said, and that's the kind of rotation we had. And I was lucky to have this kid in the 8th grade that was like 6'1", jump out of the gym. And this Italian kid. And well, that helped us because he was a good running center. Kind of today's kind of center that you would put in the game. So, so that worked well for us. And I think what I wasn't so high on the coach out there, but I see that he's adaptable for the team he's got right now. He's just trying to teach them to be dogs and just they're going to be a fast team, and they're going to have to play fast. There's no way they're going to be able to play slow basketball with what they have.
Right. But you know what's going to happen in the NBA landscape, Lee, is the fact that what they're going to be going to, is they're going to go to 6'7" and over. What I mean by that is your smallest guy is going to be 6'7". But that's what they want to do. That's what they're going to do. Watch Dallas. I'm just giving an example. All these teams are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, playing the perimeter, and it's just going to change the whole landscape of the NBA again. And there's enough phase we have to, I guess, adapt to as well.
Well, I mean,
Lee,
I guess
we got to go. I can talk to you all night.
I guess we got to go.
Talk all night.
Hey, well, listen, I'm going to be coming. I'll be coming down soon, so I still want to do something with you. And well, let's get together, and I'll be in touch with you so we can go out and talk about some of the things that we're talking about and expand on it, maybe.
Absolutely. I'm
well,
looking forward to it.
It's an honor to be on your show. I really appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me.
Well, Lee, me and you go back a long time. It's always a pleasure. And anytime when you get stuff going on, before you come down there, you want to come on and kick it, we can do part 2. I'm doing part 2 with Paulo on Halloween. So
yeah.
You're welcome anytime.
That should be fun. I'll have to check that out.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Well, listen,
it's going to be hysterical.
Text me your number. I couldn't find it, your phone number, so I can call you.
Oh, okay, I will definitely do that. Again, Lee, I want to thank you. I know you're busy involved in your other things, but next time you come on, maybe we'll just do sports. But I wanted to get
that sounds great. Hey, I want to say one thing. I want to thank all you people out there because I'm an MC too. So I want to thank you all for supporting my man Michael Consatio, the Conn Man, because he's doing really a great thing. And we all appreciate you, Mike. So thank you for what you do.
Well, Lee, thank you so very much. Take care. God bless. Talk to you soon.
All right, bro. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Folks, that was my man, Lee Rocha from New Bedford. And, it's a good thing that he's, trying to keep the Cape Verdean culture alive. And we're going to be doing some things for the community because a lot of these young people don't really know about the heritage and the culture. And it's so damn important. So Lee is doing some phenomenal things. The guy's a great guy. I really wanted to get him on and talk about the Cape Verde Islands and Cape Verde and all that. But next time if he comes on, we're going to do strictly sports because this is a sports show. But again, I want to thank you guys for tuning into the Sports Wave Network and my show, Sports Corner with the Conn Man. Stay tuned. We got some great guests. I don't want to put it out the bag, but I got something special coming up next week. I'm letting y'all know. Tune in next week because it's going to be on and popping. Again, I want to thank you guys for tuning into my show. Stay safe. Take care. God bless.